fine and if not force-fed, because if the case is not so big, you will probably still eat, but not as much. This means that you will not die, not be force-fed, and most importantly, feel good about yourself. Say that you are an anorexic patient and you are planning to do your diet slowly, but you are taken to a hospital randomly and force-fed. How would you feel? You would feel mad, angry, and sad. When these three emotions happen at the same time, they pour out to become a crazy emotion, and then you become different. I've just talked about how the patient might damage some people, how they might die of choking, and how most patients will be fine if not force-fed. I will now refutate some of the first proposition's points. They said something about if you give pills to the person, and force feed them with like stuff like pills and stuff, it might cure them with nutrients. But actually, when I talked about most patients will be fine if not force-fed, there's actually a solution to your diets, because I've just heard about powder that you can put into your water, and it's not like pills, it's not nothing bad. You just drink it and it gives you nutrients and you do not die, but you will stay the same height and you will stay the same length too. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, again, fellow debaters, and other people.
Thank you, first opposition, for that speech. I now welcome to the floor second proposition, Brendan. To extend the arguments beside proposition, the new constructive material and refutation that opposes opposition's constructive material. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Vera, and thank you to my fellow debaters for attending this. I have a couple of points. My first one is refutating what the opposition has said about what my fellow debater said before that. My second is about slightly reconstructing my also fellow debater's points again. The third point is some of my own points. So first, he said that nutrient pills are not necessary for this, but I think my partner was trying to say that anything with nutrients that doesn't add any body fat, but it just gives you some nutrients into the bloodstream and keeps your bones strong so that you don't die as fast as you normally would if you didn't have them. Second, he said that you may choke on the force feeding if you do it too much. But if you take it by small steps and slowly get them little bits, like start with a peanut and end up with, I don't know, like cheeseburger a day, and then go from there and keep getting bigger and bigger, they will slowly develop to that, and then they will most likely not choke on what you're feeding. And if you make food slightly addicting, like not a lot, so that you like are completely addicted to it and end up like 1,000,000 pounds and can't even walk through a door, then that's not good at all. But if you make it slightly addictive so they still have the urge to eat, then they will not be anorexic and be skinny. This. Also, he said that you could always go through rehabilitation instead of force feeding. I think that there should be a healthy combination of both, rehabilitation and force feeding, so that they get why that they're force feeding them, and that it's for the good of them, and that they're doing it for their own good, and just keep going through that until they finally get it and they can do it by themselves. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, second proposition, for that speech. And now moving forward, second opposition. The last speaker of this debate round to have new constructive material to present. And and to refute any argument presented by side proposition. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, thank you, guests, and thank you, debaters. The resolution before us today is be it resolved that anorexic patients should be first. We on side opposition oppose the resolution. I have 4 points, and my first point is that it's not our business what anorexics do. My second point is that they should be able to know how to take care of themselves. My third point is that doctors cannot fix anorexia by forcing them to eat. My fourth point is that if doctors force them to eat, you could make the sickness worse. My first point is that it's not our business what anorexics do. Even if it's a sickness, it's still their choice what they do. They know what they're doing and it's not our business about what they're doing. We should respect their choice. For example, it's like you got a bad score on a test and your friends say something and make things worse. I've talked about my first point. My second point is that anorexics should be able to know how to take care of themselves. They should know what's good or what's bad. So if they choose not to eat, that's too bad for them. If they realize that it's bad, they might quit it on their own. For example, it's kind of like your room gets messy, and if you don't clean it up for a long time, you will be bored of the room messy, so you will clean up the room. I use this example because if anorexics keep not eating, they might get tired of it. I've talked about my second point. My third point is that doctors cannot fix anorexia by forcing anorexics to eat. Anorexia isn't a sickness that you can get in your stomach or your throat. It's a sickness that that gets in your brain. So even if doctors try to fix it, they won't be able to because it's mental sickness. For example, it's like you're trying to fix a person who is mentally ill by making him to do something. I've talked about my third point. My fourth point is that if doctors force them to eat, they could make it worse. By forcing anorexics to eat, they could get stressed and doctors' relationship with them won't be good. For example, let's say you are not hungry but your parents force you to eat by just pushing food in your mouth. That will get you stressed and in your mind you won't like your parents for it. I've talked about my 4 points. I've talked about my 4 points, that it's not our business what anorexics do, that they should be able to know how to take care of themselves, that doctors cannot fix anorexia by forcing anorexics to eat, and that if doctors force them to eat, they could make it worse. Thank you everyone for listening to us.
I now welcome back to the stage first opposition, Luciano, to make the final comments for side opposition. No new materials should be presented. First opposition is welcome to refute any points not refuted or rebuild any opposition points that have been attacked by side opposition. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, again, fellow debaters and other people for welcoming me to the stage once more. In my speech, I will have a second refutation, I will sum up everything, and I will have any other last minute thing. When they said something about how those nutrient pills are actually you can use them, and like how you can they actually